What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a hoot and a holler, the long-awaited part 3 of the Hotel series. Now, first and foremost, I'd like to apologize for not uploading this series more frequently. Expect a lot more frequent episodes coming up here very soon, and also, if you guys want to get as high as I get the secret gravity bong in a shaker cup, the Glebe, baby. You can't go wrong. By using code GOBLIN at checkout, you can actually get 5% off your purchase and a free grinder with shipping. It doesn't go wrong, baby. I'm telling you right now, I ripped the Glebe before I started recording this. I'm stoned right now. I'm stoned out of my gullet, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why I'm excited to talk about this product. Use code GOBLIN, links in the description. Big shout out to them. Without further ado, let's dive right into it. So, Hotel Series Part 3. Now, in the last episode of this series, which I will have linked at the top of the description for those of you guys who maybe are new to the channel and haven't seen the last episode because it's been about 3 weeks, or maybe you just aren't caught up, I'll have that linked. But in this series, basically, I got kicked out of my parents' house and lived in a hotel for about 2 weeks. And in the last episode, we left off where I had Stephanie and another female friend of mine and my friend Kevin come over, and we just did a bunch of cocaine. And that was really it. Now, on this next day, this is where things really got eventful. In my opinion, one of the most eventful days of the series, because this was game 1 of the NBA Finals, right? And this was one of the years, you guys remember in the NBA Finals, there was like that 3-year streak where it was just Golden State on Cavs every year. If I remember correctly, this was the first year that occurred. I believe either the first or second year, okay? I'm like not good with sports, so I don't remember how many years they went against each other, and I'm not going to Google it. But all y'all NBA fiends in the comments, I don't know. Let me know. But either way, like how many years in a row did they actually play against each other? It was a lot. But either way, on this particular day, I wake up, and I'm pretty sure it was a Friday, if I remember correctly. I think I remember it being a Friday. And I wake up, and I'm like, all right, let's get this day going. You know, I progressed through the day, and most of the daytime, nothing happened. Like, everything that happened in this hotel series occurred at night, because that's just when everyone comes out, you know? Like, during the day, it was just kind of me chilling in the hotel room. Anyone who spent the night before would just get their stuff together, go home, and that was pretty much it until the next night rolled around. And on this particular night, I was having a lot of friends. Bobby, if you guys remember him, if you're an OG, he was in a lot of my old videos. Kevin, of course, came back over. We had Tim. For those of you guys who saw the Rob by My Friend video, Tim was in attendance for this. A lot of old Goblin characters came together for this day, right? So, of course, I start shooting texts out to people, and the first text that I get is from Bobby. He's like, yo, what are you doing tonight, bro? Let's bet on the finals, because me and Bob, we always had a trend where whenever there was a big sports match, we would bet on it. He was a huge gambler, and I loved to bet too, and typically he would beat me in cards, but I usually had the sports bets. Like, a lot of the time, I would win my sports bets against him, except I think he washed me in one Super Bowl bet. I think I lost 50 to him in a Super Bowl bet, but most other, like, NBA bets, I'm pretty undefeated in that tier, if I remember correctly. But either way, I'm talking to Bob, and I'm like, yo, dude, I'm up in this hotel. What are you doing, man? Let's link up. We can watch the finals in my hotel room, because this was still at the point where most of my friends didn't live on their own, and none of us had, like, spots to go to. So, like, we could get together for the finals and go to a friend's house, but the problem is his parents would probably be home. And even if they weren't, we can't smoke inside. In this hotel room, the smoke alarm doesn't seem to do shit. So I'm telling all the homies, hey, pull up. Bobby's like, dude, I'd love to come slide. I'll bring some liquor. Let me bring a couple people with me. I'm like, who do you think's going to be coming with? He's just throwing out a bunch of names. He throws out Ashley. He throws out Alexis. He throws out Tim. He's got a squad with him. He throws out our friend Ethan. Ethan's a very common past character. I don't think I've used the name Ethan for him, but a fairly common past character. But I don't even remember the names I've used to use for him, so it's not important enough for me to use the same one. But Ethan, good friend of mine. All these people that he's bringing are people that I've known for a long time. So I'm like, hell yeah, dude. Hit them up. Go pick them up. Do whatever you got to do and come through, right? So now I'm excited. It's like maybe like 2, 3 in the afternoon, and we're all getting shit sorted, and I got people coming. I hit up Kevin. I'm like, yo, bro, everyone's sliding on the hotel tonight. You should really come through again, and let's smoke. Let's get fucked up. We're going to have some liquor. And Kevin's never a big drinker. So Kevin, of course, he's like, will there be Coke? And me being me, of course, this was far before the Coke Chronicles ever occurred. But me being me, of course I say, yeah, dude, we can get some Coke. I'll hit up Bob, I'll hit up Alexis, I'll hit up Ashley, because I know the ladies are gonna have a Coke guy, right? Listen, the women are usually the ones to have the best plugs. All right? If you have a hot female friend, just ask her for her plug. That was our strategy, and it worked wonderfully. So after talking to Kevin, Bob pulls up, and he pulls up with Ethan. He pulls up with Tim. Tim drove separately, but they arrived at about the same time. They pull up with Alexis. They pull up with Ashley. Everyone's up in the function, dude. And listen, I got a lot of comments on my last Hotel Series video being like, dude, you didn't use the name Ashley. Congratulations. Get fucked. Today, I'm using the name Ashley. So Alexis and Ashley and Bob and everybody else pull up. They come in double fisting beers. I'm talking everybody's carrying liquor. And Tim walks in with a case of Mike's Hard. And I remember one of the funniest things Bob said, because Tim arrived after Bob and Ethan and everyone else got there. Tim drove alone, I'm pretty sure, right? But after he got there, everyone's walking in, and I remember Bob looks at Tim as he's walking in with the Mike's Hards. He's like, dude, that's so kind of you to carry the women's drinks. He gets so pissed, dude. He's like, shut the fuck up. Because Tim is the most lightweight drinker I've ever met, guys. Like, I kid you not, this guy, I remember there was a time I was at one of my friend's houses, and we were all drinking in her kitchen, right? And we had all cracked some beers, and Tim drank one beer, his first beer, and he couldn't drive home. Like, he genuinely was like, dude, I'm not going to drive home. Like, he literally wouldn't have even blown over the legal limit. But he's like, dude, I can't drive. I'm not driving home right now. I'm sitting here, and we're all like, what? That, like, just to give you guys an idea of how lightweight Tim is, okay? So things are about to get serious real quick, right? So we all bring the liquor in. Tim's got Mike's Hard for some reason. Of course, him and the women end up drinking it. We've got some other beers. I'm pretty sure Bob showed up with some garbage, like some PBR or some shit. PBR, for those guys who don't know, is one of the worst beers. I assume most of you guys know what PBR is, but it's one of the cheapest. Like, it's like natty ice tier, you know? Like, it's some disgusting brews. So we get the beers going. We sit around in the hotel room and we pregame these NBA finals. We start getting wasted. Everyone's slamming beers as quick as we can. And I announce, I'm like, hey, who's got a Coke plug? Of course, Ashley immediately goes, I got a guy. And of course, she's so excited. She's like, can you let me do a little bit? Because Ashley, hey, she didn't have a bunch of money on her, but I would always let her do some of my Coke for plugging me on it. You know, like I'd always get her right. She's like, can I do a little bit, please? And I'm like, yeah. If you get me the plug, I'll let you do a little bit. And she's like, yay, let's fucking go, you know? So we're all hype. I'm getting money together from everybody who wants to throw, and we got a good amount for the room. Not a crazy amount, but there was like an 8-ball of Coke on like probably 5 or 6 heads at this point, I'd say. I'd say 6 heads, because, you know, I've thrown out a lot of names, but there's also some like background characters who I just haven't named because it would get confusing, you know? But there's more people than just who I've named. Like, this hotel room's pretty lit, right? So we hit up the Coke plug. He pulls up. I have Ashley, of course, go downstairs with the money to grab, because at this point, I didn't know the Coke plug. And I don't think it was the same guy that I used in Coke Chronicles, but I got the Coke plug through the same girl. Like, this girl always had a Coke plug, right? So we hand her the money. She goes down there, grabs the Coke, comes back up. Now we are lit. And at this point, the finals start. I'm getting geeked, and Bob is looking at me like I'm a crackhead. Because Bobby, he's a big drinker, he's a big smoker, but Bobby never did Coke. So we're all sitting here doing Coke, and Bob would judge us every time and be like, you guys are fucking crackheads, dude. He'd be looking at us like, you guys are all going to jail. Like, he just straight up talked down on us while we're doing Coke. Like, I'd be sitting at my desk in the hotel room, because they had this little desk set up, railing my lines, and Bob would just be standing over me like my father, and he'd just be like, dude, I'm sick of it. He'd be like, I'm so disappointed in you. It was the funniest shit ever. But after I railed my Coke, him and I are discussing a bet, and we're like, dude, who do you think is going to take the final? We decided we wanted to bet on each game and then do a bigger bet on the final. So we were doing $20 on each game. And on the first game, I bet on the Cavs. And honestly, by the end of the night, I don't remember who won the bet. I genuinely don't remember who won the bet, but I remember I had Cavs and he had Warriors. And then the last game, I think we did like $100 on the actual final, and then 20 per game, which was a very fun way to bet. But As the night progresses, I'm doing coke, Tim's doing coke, Kevin's doing coke, Ashley's doing coke. Basically, everybody in this hotel room, except for Bob, is getting zooted out of their minds. And it gets to the point where we've crunched this 30 rack of PBRs. All the Mike's Hards are gone. We are so drunk. But the issue is that the only one who's really drunk in the room is Bob, because the rest of us are doing coke. And for those guys who have never mixed the two substances, basically when you get drunk and then you do coke, it like cancels it out. It's a very strange effect. So everyone else in the room is really drunk but not drunk at the same time, and Bob is over here screaming at every single shot. They would, like, even if they missed it, he'd be like, let's go, like he'd be freaking the fuck out of nowhere. And we're all like, Bob, you gotta quiet down, dude. Like, they're gonna come, like the hotel manager's gonna come. And they're going to, like, knock on the door with a noise complaint. And that would be all fine and dandy. But the problem is we're smoking in the room. We're drinking in the room. We're doing cocaine in the room. And not a single person in this hotel room is 21. So we can't be doing any of those things. So it got a little scary pretty quick, because I remember I was standing by the door at one point and looking out, and there was like some guy who was clearly in uniform, bare minimum, a hotel employee. But it looked like he might have been like a manager, walked past our window like real slowly as I was looking out the crack, because this is one of those like outdoor style hotels, right? Like if you open your door, you're just like getting fresh air and outside. It's not like I open my door to a hallway, you know? So if I look out my window, I could see when there's people going past my room, right? So either way, I'm looking out there and I see the guy go past, and I'm like, I turn around and I'm like, Bob, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, you gotta quiet down, because he's just so notorious among my friend group for being loud as fuck. Like, the guys I was hanging out with back then, we all knew that Bob was the loudest guy ever. And sadly, I actually don't kick it with a lot of these guys anymore, besides like Kevin, which is unfortunate. But either way, when I was kicking it with these guys, Bob was always just the loudest motherfucker in the galaxy, bro. And finally, towards the end of the night, once the game is over, I don't remember who won the bet, because I was so fucked up at the end of the night. I genuinely have no recollection. I remember we're still railing all this coke. Me and Kevin are geeked. I'm dripping sweat. I remember I got up in the middle of the sesh when everyone was smoking and getting geeked, and I was like, guys, I need a cold shower. And I remember I get up, and Bob is like, dude, let me take one with you, bro. I'm like, dude, I know you're drunk, and I know it would feel good, a nice cold shower, but you gotta wait your turn. He's like, please, bro. I'm like, Bob, no, we can't do that, brother. So he's chilling on the bed. And of course, he's joking. He was wasted out of his fucking mind. But still, it was some funny shit, dude. So I go hop in there, take a cold shower, get out. And let me tell you, cold showers off the coke are wonderful, dude. And this is just game one of the finals, guys. Every single night of the finals, me and my friends got together like this. And every single night, it got more ridiculous and more ridiculous. This was just the beginning of the finals, it gets much more out of hand as we proceed. But I think I'm going to call it here. After my cold shower, everything kind of died down. Everyone chilled out, sobered up, and left early in the morning the next day. And we'll continue with the next episode of the Hotel series coming soon. Once again, for those of you guys who haven't seen the last episode or the first one, that'll be linked in the description. Don't forget to use code GOBLIN at GleebTM.com. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.